Okay, so NVIDIA has just announced some NVIDIA-based PCs and NVIDIA-based laptops that run Windows. And because these are NVIDIA-based, they use ARM CPUs, not x86 CPUs. There's not an Intel CPU in there or an AMD CPU in there. This is an ARM-based CPU inside of an NVIDIA chip running Windows with NVIDIA graphics. So if you want to find out more, please let me explain. Okay, so they've announced kind of two form factors here, the big desktop PC and then laptops actually naturally merge into mini PCs because it's the same idea but just without a screen and a keyboard basically. So let's first of all look at the desktop. Now the desktop isn't your traditional desktop that maybe me or you might buy. This is specifically aimed for enterprises, which means companies that need kind of AI computing power in a big expensive box, several $1,000s worth of box with lots of memory, lots of everything inside of it. It's not the kind of thing for home. Maybe a small business that's doing on-premises AI might want this kind of thing, but this is a big expensive machine. Now at the heart of it is the GB300 NVIDIA processor, which has got 72 Neoverse V2, it's ARM Neoverse V2 CPUs, and then it's got the Blackwell Ultra GPU in it, up to 768 gigabytes of RAM. This thing is an absolute beast, and the price tag is going to be big as well. Now in terms of expansion, it is in a PC case. It kind of has like the standard connectors, like a power supply and you know the ports at the back and everything you'd expect, because it has got PCI slots. You can stick in a second GPU card. So they're saying they support the RTX Pro range up to an A6000 Pro. So again, this is because it's designed for that enterprise end of things, not a gaming kind of thing. I probably guess you could stick an RTX 5090 in there or something like that, and that would work as well. So you can expand it in that way. But in terms of the processor and the RAM, it is unified memory, so it's all going to be in one chip. So you buy the 100 and the 700 gigabyte version or the 400 gigabyte version or whatever you end up buying, and that's the RAM there. There's not RAM slots for expanding it. But of course there's expansion for storage for M2 probably and SATA and who knows whatever else they're going to put in there, because the motherboards are actually being built by a whole different range of motherboard makers who will then put them into PCs. So we're looking at all the big names, Asus, Dell, Gigabyte, HP, MSI and so on. They're all building these motherboards. Now they're expected to come out in Q4 of this year, and as I said, with a big price tag because they're aimed at enterprise. But just to underline, these are running Windows. It's not running Linux, it's not running Ubuntu, it's not running some flavor of kind of an OS from NVIDIA. This is running Windows, and it will have access to all of those GPU cores and CPU cores that come from NVIDIA in that GB300 chip. Now the other processor that they've announced is the N1X, and this is designed for laptops and for mini PCs. So this is a different beast, but the same idea. So there's less cores. You haven't got 72 CPUs, you've got 20 CPU cores. Those are X925 and X725 processor cores from ARM. And then that's coupled with NVIDIA onboard GPU up to 6,144 CUDA cores. So it's a Blackwell GPU, so of course you get RTX ray tracing and all that stuff. And in fact, NVIDIA are really pushing the fact that basically it will work for gaming. It's going to work for gaming out of the box. So you're going to have a full, gaming experience running games on Windows on this new machine. Now, of course, a lot of the foundation for Windows on ARM has been done already, mainly with Qualcomm. They've had a couple of years to kind of try to get into this market. Now, NVIDIA are able to come in. They built this chip in collaboration with MediaTek, 3nm TSMC, 70 billion transistors. Now there are some different versions of it. So there's the N1X with those 20 cores. There are several different versions available, and the lowest kind of one just gives you 10 CPU cores, 7 X925, 3 A725, and then down as low as 8 gigabytes. Now, of course, it's up to the laptop makers and the mini PC makers, what different price points they want to try and get. Are they going to try and compete with the MacBook MacBook Neo? Probably not. Are they going to try and compete with kind of mid-range laptops? Absolutely. High-end laptops? Absolutely. Mini PCs? Again, it'll be interesting to see what all these different makers, kind of the price points and the configurations they can come up with. Now, again, you're looking at all the big makers, Asus, Dell, there's even Microsoft Surface is going to be a Microsoft Surface version, Lenovo. All the big names are involved in building mini PCs and laptops using this processor. Depending on the actual processor, you can have up to 128 gigabytes of RAM. Some of them go up to only 64 gigabytes. And as I said, how far down they go will depend on what these different configurations they want to build. Also, NVIDIA announced it's working very closely with Adobe to make sure that Photoshop and Premiere Pro have been re-engineered and re-architected to take advantage of all the stuff that you get in the NVIDIA N1X on Windows. Again, this is running on Windows. So gaming on Windows, creativity on Windows, and of course, I haven't really mentioned as much, they've gone big in the announcement about AI running on these things. We'll leave that until we see what kind of performance we get with that unified memory. But AI, creativity suites, Adobe, so on, gaming, Windows, all in one package coming this year. Now, what's interesting is that NVIDIA have also committed to this new format of PCs, laptops and mini PCs for every generation of chip that they now produce. So coming up, of course, we have Vera Rubin, and that will be in 2027 and 2028. We're going to see different Vera Rubin chips coming out, including a Vera Rubin Spark version that will come out, again aimed at laptops and at mini PCs. And then after that, we've got Rosa Feynman coming out. When they say Vera Rubin, what they mean is Vera CPU, Rubin GPU. Rosa Feynman, Rosa CPU, Feynman GPU. So Rosa Feynman coming out in 2029 and 2030. Again, there's going to be a Rosa Feynman Spark version, again aimed at laptops and at mini PCs. So NVIDIA are committing themselves to this whole market. Desktops, enterprise desktops. Maybe we'll see kind of high-end desktops that are not as big as the enterprise ones. Maybe we'll see that. Laptops and mini PCs. And again, them pushing that, well, they're basically saying, buy this mini PC, you can run OpenClaw on it. It sits in the corner, little box. Of course, direct competition, of course, with Apple, with their Mac Mini and so on and so on. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, particularly the pricing. That is the key thing we're going to have to look out for. What prices are you going to pay for these different configurations? Okay, that's it. My name's Gary Sims. This is Gary Explains. I hope you enjoyed this video. Love to hear your thoughts on an actual NVIDIA PC, an actual NVIDIA laptop with these ARM CPUs, NVIDIA GPUs running Windows. Love to hear what you think about that in the comments below. Okay, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.